So I thought I'd revisit the CCS toys, Shin Robo, the black Shin Robo, because there were some things I wanted to discuss. First of all, I put him on the stand, um, and he feels very solid on here. I'm using the stands now for the CCS toys because I'm just so worried about them toppling over. But I will admit that this figure is about 3 pounds, and it it's being held on there by plastic and stuff. The rod is metal, but I mean it feels secure, and I think it is more secure than simply standing there. One of the things I also did was something that I had meant to do, which was remove all the batteries because I am just worried that I have it sitting on a shelf for several years and the batteries start corroding and damaging the figure. So his light up features will not work. I removed batteries from here, 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 here. I don't know. I think there was like 9 places where there were batteries all over the place. Uh, so I did some more kind of looking around the figure, and it is really an amazing figure. When I was removing the different pieces and stuff. Now, one of the problems with the light up features is the fact that uh, so this one here in the middle, that one is quite easy to turn on. I can't turn it on because I don't have batteries in it. The thigh ones are also easy to turn on. These ones in here, you need to remove the panels. So that's a bit of work. This one, you need to remove this panel. These, you need to remove these 2 panels. So that's a lot of work and some of these panels, like this one here and these two, are not the easiest things to remove. So to use the light up features, you've got to go through quite a bit of effort. And it also was a bit of a pain in the butt to remove all the batteries. For some reason, some of them they have sliding panels and they didn't want to slides a few of them. Now, I had said in one of my comments that I couldn't get the scarf on, so I got it on. Actually, it was my own fault. This piece here, there's 2 different pieces, and I needed to use the alternate piece. So that once I did that, now this doesn't really peg in. It just kind of sits on there, but it's fairly secure. Now, the one thing I will say is that once you put the scarf on, it does limit the articulation a little bit, particularly in this shoulder here, which will bump up against this piece. This is like a soft rubber, this scarf. There are 2 other scarf pieces. This one would go kind of down here, and then this one would go like up here. And I am not going to put that one on because this figure would be so tall that there would be nowhere I could put it, no shelf I could put it on, other than just putting it in a shelf that doesn't have a top on it, or a top that's quite high, because it would increase this to like a monumental height with the base, and with he's hovering a little bit there, and the figure would just be ridiculously high. And super busy with all that going on. And mind you, this figure, I don't have it set up with the wings, so the wings would go out, huge wings. So this figure, if you wanted it with all its accoutrements, it would take up a lot of space. So it would have to be like the centerpiece of some shelf or something like that. And that's why I end up not buying some of the Bandai Godzilla figures like King Ghidorah, because they're just so massive on a shelf. So he's already going to take up more space now because I'm using the stand. So I opted for it. But this is really, once you remove these pieces and this and that, you could see just the detailing in here, and how much die cast there is, and how heavy the figure is. It's really quite amazing. Now, somebody had suggested, because I kept saying, it's not anime accurate because it looks nothing like the black Get a Robo from Get a Robo Armageddon, and this one, the Carbonics one, Blitzway one, does look like it. So somebody had suggested that this is actually Shin Get a Robo Tarek, and that is this character here, and it's from Get a Robo Arc. I don't remember it. I do own Get a Robo Arc, the anime, but when I go into if I click on Get a Robo Arc, this is the Get a Robo wiki. It does mention that the character is in there. I think it's in there very briefly, so I didn't really remember it. Now, the problem with this theory that it's Shin Getter Robo Tarek, so it does mention that it appears. So I'd have to rewatch that. The problem is that when I go out here and I look, yes, it does say in these places where it's being sold that it is Shin Getter Black. But they also, all of them say from Get a Robo Armageddon. So as far as I could tell, CCS Toys was advertising it as from Shin Getter Armageddon. And I do not think this character, this figure, is in Shin Getter Armageddon. So I think it's an interesting theory that it is supposed to be this Shin Getter Tarek. But it is kind of done in by the fact that that's not how it's being advertised. It's being advertised as coming from Get a Robo Armageddon. So I don't know. Maybe this will be a mystery that will never be solved. But I definitely... Now this figure, good luck getting it unless you buy it on the secondary market, in which case it's probably gone up considerably in price. But back here is where you remove this piece. I don't even know if you could have the wings and the scarf on here at the same time. But there's a piece that pegs in here, and then the wings will peg on. And, again, this, like, if it looks like metal, well, I'm not going to say if it looks like, because this up here, it looks like metal, but it's not. But this is all metal in here. Metal in here. It is just really, really an amazing figure. And this one was about $360. So it may sound like a lot of money, but boy, you get a lot for what you pay. So yeah, I finally found a black Getter Robo where the scarf will go on, and it was my own fault because I wasn't reading the instructions. I mean, they're in Japanese, but I was able to look at the picture, and once I figured out that this piece needs to be replaced, then it went in very easily. So this is just a little revisit from a figure that's pretty amazing. So this is Black Shin Getter Robo that's maybe from Armageddon or maybe from Getter Robo Arc. Who knows?